He is a dogged worker, and just a guy that really understands the game at an extremely high level. Um, and he's a great shooter. So he does a lot of things well. LeCue is a young player with tremendous athleticism. He's got a lot of force to his game. I remember watching him at a prep school tournament, not last year, but I guess the year before, up in Connecticut, and just a real powerful athlete, and aggressive, confident. I'm looking forward to get to know him a little bit better. But again, he's a young player, and we have to get him here and kind of get a baseline to where he is with everything, get a sense of what the plan will be for him. But as I said before, and I do think it's draft night's such a good reminder of this for me. It's just you think all these guys that get picked, but there's only going to be a few of them that go on to be really good players, and there'll be a few more that become really high level role players. But it's just, there's 60 guys picked every year, but there's not 60 guys leaving out of the NBA every year. So it's hard to make it, and it's hard to find players. And I've said this many times. Like we've had some work out for us, and we've had a lot of them that happen. And in order to get a few right, you have to be willing to to realize that you're going to get a bunch wrong. And a big part of that is, I think, one, just giving yourself as many opportunities as possible to find players that can stick. And some players, can do great in one place and not great in another. There's a lot of different factors that go into it. Some of it's opportunity, sometimes it could be injury, sometimes it could be maturity, sometimes it could be you got somebody in front of you that plays the same position, you get a chance to get out there. There just can be so many things. A lot of things have to line up for things to go right. And I think, you think about where we were, not this time last year, but at the last draft. I'm sure somebody asked me about Lou Dort, but I could never have told you that Lou Dort was going to be starting the team the next year. I remember getting those questions about Sabonis when we drafted him, and Baze, even Baisley. But I'm the guys that have fought through and become rotation players or better in the NBA are easy to realize. But there's plenty of guys that don't succeed or may not succeed here initially. We accept that. That's part of trying to identify players and talent, and a lot of it has to do with good fortune. I'll be the first one to say that. But we're always trying to shift the odds with as much information as possible, and we're not afraid to take some risk. I think risk is an important part of trying to gain advantage, and we've always been willing to take some of that and realize that anyone that thinks you're going to be hitting 50% is not really familiar with the NBA draft or draft history in general. And you're going to always be able to name a lot more guys that probably don't pan than do. But if you can get a couple that can be with you for a really long time and help build a foundation, then you have a chance to do something in this league that's really hard to do, which is sustain something. And there's a lot of hard work that has to go into that, and a lot of things have to line up.